Hey, my Lipton. So I wanted to do this video. I wanted to do this video because I'm just like, I don't know if y'all saw my community tab. I don't know if I deleted it or not. I'm not sure. It's been a minute. And I wrote on my community tab. I was like, it's been a minute since I talked about anything vampire related. You know what I mean? It's just like, in a way, like I did start my channel talking about politics and stuff, but I also know that in the beginning stages of my channel, I was discussing a lot of like vampire diaries, some very few Twilight stuff, but I don't know. I think I might do reviews on that as well. But it was mostly Vampire Diary stuff. Um and it was just me discussing, certain ships that I liked, certain characters, some relationships that I did not enjoy. But I do want to do more of a thorough video about like my favorite ships and like and I think I discussed Klaus and Caroline, uh Stefan and Elena. If y'all don't know, on this channel, I am Team Klaroline, I am Team Klaus and Caroline, and I am Team Stefan and Elena. Okay, I'm not here for the delena stuff. I'm not here for steroline, as you can tell, because the last time I did a video on steroline, on Stefan and Caroline, the steroline stands were coming for me under my comments. But listen, under my comments is always open conversation, as long as y'all not being disrespectful or anything like that. If y'all disagree with me, whatever, I'm cool with that. It is what it is. But the fact is, this is a fact, a majority of the general public love Klaus and Caroline. It's just like there's no, I mean, I don't know what y'all want me to say. It's just like majority of people love them and wanted them together, and they are together in our heads. So it's like y'all can be mad about it. Klaus and Caroline are endgame. And, and here's the thing. I'm also not an idiot, right? It's like, of course, even though Klaus and Caroline are not like, as far as like the show goes and everything like that, they didn't end up together. But like, I'm talking about as far as like the audience and what majority of the audience wanted. They definitely wanted Klaus and Caroline to be together. And I just got to keep it honest. Even though I'm personally not a Damon and Elena fan, them as a couple together, and I was more Stefan and Elena, I do have to be honest. Like a majority of people, and it's been on YouTube, Twitter, all these social medias, Facebook, everything. It does seem like majority of people have always liked the Delena. They always liked the Damon and Elena. And at the end of the day, even though I'm personally in the minority when it comes to that, is to say I feel like Elena's morale just went down when she got with Damon. I feel like she also looked dirty as hell. Like, I don't know, she just looked dirty when she got with Damon. It's just, I don't know, maybe I need to go back and watch that. Like, just notice how she looked when she was with Stefan in the beginning, and and also look how she looked when when her and Damon were together. It's just like she looked more rugged, more, yeah. But it is what it is. I'll give it its credit for what it is. Julie Pluck and them brainwashed the masses into thinking that Damon and Elena were something to be about and look at, and it's not. It really is not. It is what it is. But I do want to talk about this, and I know some people are gonna be like, "Girl, why are you talking about some vampire stuff, girl? Why you have a vampire talk playlist?" And I do have a vampire talk playlist. You guys can go watch my other videos that I did. I said it. I need to be posting more when it comes to this topic, because I was a huge, like, oh my gosh, like growing up, huge, like on the whole vampire werewolf train. Like Twilight, Vampire Diaries were my shit. I wasn't too much of a big Teen Wolf and True Blood, and I know I need to get into True Blood eventually, but like I wasn't into that. I know like my siblings were into that, but for me personally, I wasn't into that. Vampire Diaries, especially Twilight, those were my things. I love those. Um, and I'm just noticing how, and maybe I might do a video on this too as well in the future, where is this like, is the sort of like fascination with the whole vampire fantasy genre, has that ended now within pop culture? Because especially during what, 2009 like during those early mid 2000s, like everybody was on the vampire train. It was such a huge pop cultural moment with Twilight, with Vampire Diaries, that like everybody was into it. It was almost like a fetish if you think about it too. Like in a way, we all the teenage girls, all of us, we were going through our fetishes with the werewolves and the vampires. Okay, and it's just that now when I see like someone like a Julie Plec who can't let this shit go, who can't let the well go and stop sucking the shit dry, she's trying to pump out all these vampire content, in the 2020s, and and I've discussed this too on my channel. I talked about it, where Vampire Academy, that show that she put out, ended up getting canceled because people, it wasn't bringing, and it was on streaming platforms, it wasn't on cable, so it wasn't doing it, the viewership wasn't good. So I personally, for me, I do think that the vampire werewolf fascination thing is gone within our culture, but I don't know, it could pop up again, I'm not sure. Maybe with the whole MCU, I don't know, because they are introducing Blade in the future, so maybe we might get back on that train. But as of right now, I don't think I think it's done. It is what it is. It's something that is within our nostalgia time, and boom. All right, I did went on a tangent, but I do want to discuss this. So I did want to do a video about like the parents within the Vampire Diaries show, because okay, overall, if I'm just gonna be honest, overall, all these parents are horrible. All of them were horrible. Like all of them from start to bottom. I think that obviously, except for Elena's is adopted parents, um, Grayson and Melinda, whatever their name is, because they weren't on the show. Like they died during the, spoiler alert, they died in before whatever. But like if we're talking about like biologically, whatever, all these parents, horrible, horrible. And it does say something to the fact that like like in a way I do compare this with like Pretty Little Liars, because it's like and it's the same thing with Pretty Little Liars. It's like the situations that these children, like these teenagers, are put through is because of what their parents did before them, and a lot of the bullshit that was done, and how they ruined their children. And the children are the ones that have to suffer. The children are the ones that have to maneuver through all this, and a lot of times the parents tend to blame the kids for what the hell is going on with their lives. It's the same thing in Pretty Little Liars, like with the whole Mrs. De Laurentiis and all this, and all their bullshit, and that's a whole other thing. I might do a video on that too. But these parents, they're horrible, horrible. And I'm not gonna talk about all of them. It's just that because I do want to talk about them individually, but I'm going to talk about the ones that are more important to me. But yeah, let's just start this video. Okay, Isabel or Isobel, whatever the hell because her name is spelled Isobel. So Isobel. Y'all, I was watching the clips back again because it's been a while since I watched Vampire Diaries, and I was just rewatching some of the clips and her back in season 1 and some parts of season 2. This woman, I just, for me, y'all, like, and here's the thing, with the rest of these parents that I'm about to show y'all in the show, in a way, it's like, okay, I'm playing devil's advocate a little bit with some of them, because it's like, okay, I can kind of understand why they're like this or why they're like that. But with Isabel, I don't understand it at all. Like, this woman is just, first of all, she got pregnant when she was a teenager. Whatever, it happens. It's things like that happen. She gave the child away to her boyfriend's brother. And they end up raising the child along. So Grayson, Gilbert, and his wife end up raising Elena, which was Elena. She then goes on and becomes a grown up, and then she marries Alaric, and she is obviously living in Virginia. So that sort of stuff, the vampire stuff, like the whole like quote unquote animal attacks, where even though it's like, if it's an animal attack, why the hell would the animal just be sucking the blood? Wouldn't they eat the body in whole? So she started to get curious, blah blah blah, doing her research. She's been doing this for years, and it got to a point where this woman was so obsessed with vampires and these bloodsuckers and things like that, that she wanted to become one. And she got her wish. She left Alaric. She left that bullshit alone. She went over to the dark side. And it's just that, like, for me, it's kind of like, I'm just like, and and then she also joined Catherine. That was a whole thing too. And it's just, the way this woman, Isabel, like, and then I know they try to give her a little bit some redemption thing, like not redemption thing, but like try to show her human side, that she cared about Elena still, like she didn't want Elena to be associated with vampires or be around them, and she didn't want Alaric to. And it's like, girl, if you didn't want your daughter to be around why the hell would you, like, why would you sacrifice yourself to become a vampire? And if I'm not mistaken, was it Damon? Damon was the one that changed. And that's another thing too, why I don't understand why Elena in this whole Damon thing, like the fact that, first of all, Damon also had sex with Elena's mom? The jokes write themselves. Yeah, I think it was Damon that actually made Elena's biological mother into a vampire. Okay, so it's like you don't want your daughter to be a vampire or to be associated with vampires, but yet your dumbass went over there and became a vampire. I don't know if you regretted it. Maybe that's what it is. I'm not sure, but it seems like this was your life's mission, and there's no explanation for how Isabel is just one of the worst parents I ever seen in my life. And I listen, I get it. Like, she was a teenager. She didn't want to be a mom, especially at that young age. Is very tough on her. That part I understand. But it's like, for you then to go through this journey and wanting to become, you become so obsessed with that. You're more obsessed with becoming a fucking vampire instead of you reconnecting with your daughter and having a relationship with her. So Isabel is just trash to me. She was trash. I'm happy that she freaking. I think Klaus is the one that compelled her to kill herself, if I'm not mistaken. So she got what she deserved. Shout out to Klaus. He took out the trash. Okay, she really, really tried it. Ciao, Lily Salvatore. Let me tell y'all something. Okay, in a way, cause it's like I said, I do need to play a little bit of devil's advocate, because it's like, with some of these people, especially with Lily Salvatore, she didn't, and maybe I have to look back at it again, but I don't think that she's the one that she didn't want to become a vampire. Like, that was something that she didn't plan for. Like, she was like legit dying of consumption, and I think a nurse, if I'm not mistaken, is the one that fed her vampire blood. So she ended up dying, and then she woke up a goddamn vampire. And it's one of those things where it's like, this is a whole new thing for her. It's a whole new world. Like, she didn't think that this would happen to her. And on top of that, with the whole Ripper thing, she was also a Ripper, which ended up passing down to Stefan, where he's also it was the whole Ripper gene thing. So she ended up, just killing thousands and thousands and thousands of people throughout the US and throughout Europe. And Damon definitely did feel, and I can understand where Damon was coming from. Lily Salvatore didn't come for, didn't come and rescue Damon and Stefan from their father Giuseppe, and she chose another life or something like that. Like, and I can understand that, but I'm also thinking at it from her standpoint, where it's like, bro, I just became a vampire, like, and plus I don't have any control over my bloodthirst. I could legit kill you if I bet she did wanted to come for them and come and get them, but it's like, hello, y'all are human, I'm a vampire, y'all, like, and plus I have no control over this shit. Like, I'm legit ripping through Europe and the United States. How am I supposed to come and get you? I feel like I might kill you. So that's the standpoint where I come from it at with Lily Salvatore. But for me, where it's like, where she was just like, oh, like, I guess discarding or like trying to sever ties with Damon and Stefan, like, because she's like, ever since she became a vampire, like, with the whole new with the heretics and things like that, they became her family, and they're the ones that helped her, have control over her thirst and that sort of thing, over her Ripper genes, and going and doing all that. And I'm just like, okay, like, I get it. Yes, these people helped you. Yes, you went to rehab. You went to bloodthirsty rehab. So yes, but it's like, girl, Damon and Stefan are still your these are your children. These are the ones that you pushed. These are your children. These are the ones that you carried for 9 months, and you just gonna discard. Oh yeah, it is what it is. I'm not the same person and I get it. Listen, when you become a vampire, everything is heightened. Especially within the world of Vampire Diaries, everything is just like, woo woo woo, you're woody woody woody. But those are still your children. At the end of the day, whether they're children, whether they become adults now, it's like, I didn't like that. And the fact that, especially in season 7, the way she was acting in the beginning, she was just doing too much. She was just doing too much. You know what I mean? And that's the thing too. She looked like Damon in a way. She really do look. The casting for this role. And by the way, rest in peace to this actress, because I think she passed away this year. So R.I.P. I'm forgetting her name, but I wish I had her name here. But R.I.P. to her, because I thought that she did a great job playing Lily Salvatore. I thought the casting was great, but no, like, I didn't like the fact that she, like, was like, listen, I'm cutting ties. Like, I'm not doing this with y'all. I'm not your mother, really, really. Like, yes, you're my children, but I'm not your mother. Like, I have a new family, and it's just like, that's the thing I did not like. I was just like, girl, like, are you serious? Like, are you serious? Like, and she did fake her death. Like, we need to be, but then again, I'm like, okay, she quote unquote faked her death. She was ripping, couldn't control her, but when she became a vampire, couldn't control her bloodthirst, was going around killing a bunch of people. And then when she tried to come back to the US, the freaking what is her name? The Gemini Coven ended up putting her into the freaking thing. What is it called? Oh god, I gotta go back and watch this shit. And the thing, like, locked her up in the prison world. So it's like, in a way, yeah, well, yes, technically, they, she didn't come for Damon and Stefan and run away with them and protect them from Giuseppe. But at the end of the day, girl, like, she was in the prison world for centuries. Like, what did you want her to do? In a way, this does kind of sound like I'm defending Lily Salvatore, but I'm really not, because, like, I was really pissed at what she was doing, and especially in season 7. That really pissed me off. But it is what it is. But she's still not a good mother, though. Low key, she's still not, because there was more. Like, I feel like I wish she didn't say that. Like, oh, like, I have a new family thing, and the whole heretics thing, because it's like, nah, fam. Like, these are Damon and Stefan are your children. Like, and I get it. It's been centuries. You haven't seen them since they were kids, but make some adjustments, girl. Like, you really tried that. Whoosh. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about both Michael and Esther at the same time, because I think that here's my thing with Esther and Michael. Here's one thing I respect about Michael. Okay, at least Michael tells you who he is, and he doesn't sugarcoat anything, and he doesn't gaslight nothing. Michael is he will kick your fucking ass. He will, clearly, if y'all watch especially the originals, and especially season 2, when they get into some things with Michael and the whole family history and everything, Michael is not one to play with. And he told that to his kids. His kids know who he is. Why do you think they ran away from him for centuries? Eons at this point. Because Michael is just like, listen, I don't give a fuck y'all. To hell with y'all. If y'all are not with me, then y'all are against me. But really, I don't really need y'all, because I'm strong enough to be on my own and blah, blah, blah. Like, he's that kind of parent. With Esther, the thing that I do not respect about her and what I don't like about her is that she likes to gaslight. And I was rewatching the originals not that long ago. She really, really gaslighted Klaus. Like all of her children, if we're gonna be all of her kids, but like she really, it was real bad. It was real bad. Like she gaslighted, lied. She pretends to be this like, well, she was a good mother. She was a great mother, loves her kids, blah, 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 blah. But yet, your actions don't represent that. Your actions do not represent that, because if you loved your kids, you would not want them killed, dead, whatever the hell you're trying to do, put them in different bodies and like all this shit. And it's like, listen, in a way, tiny bit, I get it. You know, vampires, you and your ilk, you and Michael are the ones that started this whole vampire thing. You know, you didn't think that it would go to the extent that it did, with the bloodthirst and killing human beings and that sort of stuff. So it got out of control, and I don't I truly believe this. I don't think that Esther and Michael knew exactly what they were getting into when they did that. And obviously, if we're gonna get into like the whole Dahlia story, which is a whole other thing with Esther, it's like, because she claims that she was barren, she couldn't have children at the time. So her older sister, mind you, her older sister who had beef with her and with Michael, already was pissed off at Esther for like leaving her side and marrying Michael. You went to her to do some whatever blood dark magic voodoo for you to have children, and then she's saying that, but there's a catch, that you have to give your firstborn to her, and all the other firstborns that your children were to have. Esther, you agreed to that because you were so desperate to have kids. You were so desperate to have kids that you were willing to give up your own kid, whatever kid that were to come, to your evil older sister. Freya is born. What is the other one's name? I'm forgetting his name because that's how irrelevant he is. What is his name? The other brother, the one that came after Freya. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And then obviously Elijah, and then whatever. They ended up taking Freya, because that was the part of the deal. Because that was Esther's firstborn. So it's just she really, really dealt with a bad hand, and I think that Esther said this too. She thought that having more kids will probably help her forget about the first child, having Freya at the time, but it didn't. It didn't. So it came to a point where it's like her and Michael made the decision to make their children into vampires so that their children don't reproduce and Dahlia doesn't come for their firstborns. And it's just and it's like, okay, overall, both these, okay, Michael and Esther are just terrible parents. This, like, overall, terrible, terrible, terrible parents. Like I said, they're awful. Michael was awful, abusive as hell, physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, verbally abusive to all of his kids, especially to Klaus. Especially for the fact that Esther ended up having, and Klaus is not Michael's, is real, but it's not biologically Michael's, and therefore that added more to the hatred that Michael had for Klaus. You know what I mean? Because let's be very clear, even before Michael found out about Klaus not being his son, he's always had an issue with Klaus. Always. And I guess the fact that when he found out that Klaus wasn't his, that definitely was like, okay, now I have a reason as to not like this motherfucker. So Michael was just a crazy ass he was crazy as hell. Just like the fact that you're willing to kill your own like you want to go. First of all, it's not only Klaus he wanted to kill. He wanted to kill a lot, and I think people are forgetting it's not just Klaus. Of course, Klaus was his target, but like anybody that's still with Klaus, they were also getting some strays. They were getting some strays. He was gonna get all of y'all, Rebecca, Elijah, cold, y'all were all gonna get it. And he had no issue with that. My issue with Esther is that Esther pretends to be this loving parent, like, oh, well, I'm doing this for your own good. I'm doing this because, it's the right thing to do. I'm doing this because of it. It's like, no, girl. And, Klaus said this. I think it was in season 2. I think it was when Esther was in that little girl's body or whatever. Esther's a widow, jumping into different bodies when she was a witch, talking about I try to protect you from your father, Klaus. And then Klaus was like, girl, bye. You claim you ranting and raving about how we're so evil and blah 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 blah, but you're the author of the book. You're the one that started the shit. You're the one that made us who we are. So you can't be mad at the fucking dog pooping, shitting, all this extra shit when you're the one that made the shit. When you do clownery, the clown comes back to bite. So I don't understand why you try to undo centuries worth of shit. But this wouldn't happen first of all, had you not made that deal. And I get it, you were barren, you wanted to have kids. But first of all, Esther should have thought this through. She should have thought that through. And I honestly don't know if, and I wish they would have told, I don't know. I'm not sure if Michael was the one that, if he knew about it or like whatever, but I don't, Esther should have thought about this clearly. And, she was desperate as hell to have children. And then she ended up, you wanted to have children, but then you also fucked up your children. You ruined your children. Your children are messed up because of you. So, I can't stand Esther. I also can't stand Michael, but I have to respect, at least Michael tells you who he is. He don't give a fuck. It's just, it is what it is with him. But yeah, that's my rant on those two. Lastly, I want to talk about John Gilbert. And it's just, with him and Isabel, like, John, with him, it's like, sir, like, I'm going to keep it short with him because it's like, I don't got time for this bullshit. But it's the hypocrisy of it all. You hate vampires, but yet you're still buddying and teaming up with Isabel, who ended up who's also your baby mama, who also became a vampire. You're doing her bidding and all this extra shit, but yet you don't want your daughter being around vampires. It's like, girl, listen, if you're gonna, if you're gonna allow the devil within your, like, you're just gonna have to eat that. You're gonna have to eat that. Like, if you're gonna allow this and doing Isabel's bidding and doing all this extra shit, it is what it is. And for me, it's like, that's the part I don't understand. Excuse me. That's the part I don't understand about John Gilbert and Isabel. It's like, okay, y'all don't want Elena to be around vampires, to become a vampire, all this extra shit, but yet y'all are involved in that world. Y'all doing each other's bidding. Y'all are doing all this extra shit. You're making deals with vampires. So which one is it? Do you like them or do you hate them? Do you want to get rid of them or no? Because if that's the case, then you're going to have to also get rid of Isabel. Because for me, it's like, and then on top of that, like, you, and listen, I get it. He was a teenage parent, during that time, so it's hard. But it's like, for you to then portray yourself to be Elena's uncle, and it's like, and that also goes for Elena's adopted parents with Grace and Gilbert and everything. Like, it is a thing where it's like they did lie. They lied to Elena. They did. So it's like, I don't know. It's a lot with these parents. They're all crazy as hell to me. They're all dumb as hell. But it's just, and I will say this. So I know I didn't discuss him, but I'm forgetting his name. No, I'm gonna just leave that for another time. But yeah, these parents are just the worst. They are the worst. I do see some. There are times I'll, devil's advocate here and there, but it's like I just, as like the originals with Esther and Michael, and then on top of that you have Lily Salvatore. On top of that you have Isabel. On top of that you have John Gilbert. On top of that you have Caroline's dad, who was also, and I know I didn't discuss him, but it's like I don't like y'all. There's only so much. But that's just my rant on these people. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you guys feel like these parents, do you guys feel like this is like a ripple effect of what the parents did, and then it end up going towards like the children, and now the children have to suffer and they have to navigate through all the bullshit that's going on? And that's how I feel about when it comes to the Mikaelson family, like the kids with Rebecca, Elijah, Klaus, and them. It's like with the abuse and all the gaslighting, the lying, and all the bullshit that happened with Esther and Michael and Dahlia. It really really messed up their children. Like it really really did. And now, it's a situation where it's like hurt people. So, but yeah, tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you guys want me to do more videos like this or talk about more Vampire Diaries stuff, tell me how you guys feel in the comment section below. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get up to 700 subscribers, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.